Hey guys, we are on an unscheduled stream session today. I'll be back tonight for the scheduled session at 8 p.m., but we're going to go ahead and do a little bit earlier this afternoon. Because that's what I like to do. I like to surprise people. Now, give me a minute because I kind of wanted to see if I could get Dwarf Therapist using the dark mode version that somebody recommended to me for the stream. So hang on a second. If I can do that relatively quickly, I'm going to. But that means I'm going to leave you all staring at the splash screen for a second while I get this running. This doesn't look like it's going to be very hard. Hang on. One second. Just got to get the shortcuts set up, and I think we're in business. Okay, this should work. Thank you all for being patient while I fiddled and poked. We're going to pick up with where we left off. Only now, Therapist, every time I pull it up, isn't going to cause nuclear fire to jet from your monitor and sear your eyeballs. We're using a dark mode style that somebody has created for it. So a little less gruesome on the eyeballs, I'm thinking. It'll take me a little while to get used to this. Feels a little like peering through a window at my Dwarf Therapist spreadsheet. This is going to take a minute. Now, along the way, one thing we didn't do is I never set up our initial dwarves. I never really named them, and, well, we're supposed to do that because I've got these folks who donated and they're owed. So I'm going to go through and do that right now, and I'm going to call them out as I go so that I've got the entire list in front of me. Now, most of them didn't have any specific requests about what they wanted. The closest I got was, you know, name the broker after me. So, in order, the folks who donated are Valdemar, Devop, Dev, whoops. That's right. 6 of the 7 have now been claimed. If you'd like to claim one of the starting 7 to have it named after you or named after someone you know in all, not just this fort, but all future forts for this event, that's for 4 more days. We're going to start a new fortress on Saturday. From the get-go, we're going to start at 8 a.m. with a brand new fortress and run it all 24 hours for that session. So if you'd like to name a dwarf, now's your chance. Remember, it'll take a $25 donation to name one of the starting 7 or a $10 donation or more to name any migrant. You'll get a dwarf named after you in all succeeding forts, not just this one, remember. We're including everyone. So I now have 4 dwarves, 4 people who needed migrants, and I'm going to go ahead and get those folks done next. And I'm missing one. Yep, there we are. And now we've named everybody who needed a name. Back through and make sure I don't have any strange migrants or folks who showed up who weren't expected. Make sure I have no children who've grown up into haulers but haven't had their labors assigned properly, like this guy. Take a quick stroll through and make sure we don't need to apply remove stress to fix the broken stress mechanic. We're good there. Is woefully inadequate. Unfortunately, our spearmen are the only ones who have any skill whatsoever. Yeah, this is going to take some time. These guys need some time on the whetstone, as it were. Get our zoom back out to a practical level. Check out our entrance. Okay, it's good here. Libraries work, ticking along. Tavern's running. Check out our jobs queued. Still need to make coffins. Haven't touched the glass yet. We're manufacturing our iron items. Okay, looks good here. See what our announcement failures are. No empty barrels, no empty bags. Empty barrels we can fix by making some pots. Bags we need to fix by getting our cloth industry up and running. So, let's make sure we have our farming. Rope breeds on all 4 seasons, B, C, D. Yep. Okay, let's check it over here. A, B, C, D. Okay, this one needs to be done. So, let's finish him properly. Now, I'd prefer to run all pigtails, but since pigtails only grow 2 seasons a year, I can get far, far more out of the rope breeds. I'm not actually early today. We're going to be back at 8 p.m., just like scheduled, just like always. But because I'm on vacation this week, and because this is a charity event for Extra Life, I am going to be back through the day, periodically, all week up before our Saturday live stream. On Saturday, I start at 8 a.m. my time and run all day into the next day, 24 hours long. So if you haven't caught my stream previous to this, if you show up on Saturday, I promise you're going to be able to catch me regardless of where you are. But we'll stream through the day. I can't say every day, but we'll stream through the day at least periodically through this week. Since I'm on vacation, I don't have to attend to my usual 8-hour gig. I figured I'd put in a few extra hours and kind of drive the event a little more. So if you're following my announcements out there on the Dwarf Fortress subreddit, you're going to notice that it says more days, more often, more dwarf. That's where we are. Yeah, man, show up on Saturday. That's going to be the extra day. That's the Extra Life main event. 24 hours from 8 p.m. Eastern until 8 p.m. Eastern the following day. Live the entire time. Now our bookbinders are starting to get bees installed in our hives, and I think we'll do this differently next time. I think we'll manipulate how I did my farms, and we'll go even further than I did this time. We'll have underground farms whose sole purpose is to store bees, and we'll have above ground farms whose purpose is to actually produce honey, and that way we can guarantee that they're safe. And another wave of migrants. Notion just struck me. Why not let the doctors do the bookbinding? There's going to be way more doctoring than bookbinding. There won't be that much because we simply can't produce enough parchments or sheets currently to make it worthwhile. If I have enough doctors and I have enough bookbinding jobs to do, some of the doctors are going to be available at all times for the hospital duty. I like this idea. We will use this in future forts. Yes, yes we will, because we know that our bookbinding duties are somewhat limited. And I'll just throw a pile of these guys into the noble job, and we'll mix a little bit of those rare jobs like beekeeping and paper binding into our doctors. Get them doing all that academic studying that doctors are supposed to be doing, right? I do want to leave pressing on them, and I do want to leave butchery and tanning on them because those things, pressing, butchery, tanning, feed into paper making and bookbinding indirectly. Likewise, we could leave spinning and shearing on, but I don't think we're going to need to. We've got enough spinning and shearing going on elsewhere in the fort. Should be fine there. I could turn on fish cleaning, but we've got everybody else assigned to fish cleaning. There should be plenty of folks handling that. Get our haulers all doing the hauling jobs. Alright, let's go back and look at those nobles now. Looks like Adrian needs to be replaced as chief medical doctor with somebody who actually has the diagnosis skill, so Deller's going to be getting the job since our migrant now has it, and he's going back to the ranks of the haulers because he has no skill in anything and hasn't bothered to learn any. Paper making, and you guys are doing all the beekeeping, so right now you have nothing really useful either. Somebody else can handle the bees for a minute. Okay. Now what's that pare us down to? 2 people who had the paper making skill and a pile of people who are actual doctors. Let's leave those folks assigned. And that's way more doctors than we theoretically should need. But remember, sometimes they're going to be busy doing bees or waxworking or paper making or bookbinding. They're not going to be available for doctor duty. And at that point, somebody else will handle it. But alas, our chief medical dwarf has been replaced. And this guy wants us to make coffins, and I'm pretty sure I've got a coffin job right up there at the top, just waiting to be keyed off, and we'll be in business.
When I'm holding this, I feel unstoppable. No.
So yeah, if you've never seen the stream before and you want to catch me during the day, you could throw a follow on me. It'll announce to you when I've come back on stream. Unfortunately, the daytime streams are going to be kind of unpredictable. I don't have entirely full control of my schedule despite being on vacation. Alas, alas. And we'll set up our tree chopping burrow, and yeah, I don't know we want to really do that many. We've got 1,000 logs, and this would be 1,000 more trees, which is like 10,000 logs or some ridiculous thing. We've got a lot of trees in our area. Even just an occasional sweep through here to clean out the trees is going to leave us with a very large number. Let's go ahead and make some more battle axes while we're at it, because we've got a large number of haulers and got copper just sitting around. So let's go ahead and make about 30 copper battle axes while we're at it. I won't bother to link those to the shop because I want to get the job done quickly.
Sir, you can't do that there.
And I'm thinking we need to key in some rock pots here. Did we do a job for them? Yeah, we've got rock pots going, but it looks like we're... We can produce the pots a little faster. I can turn them up. We have 8 craft stores workshops. It's safe to go up to 8 on task shops, or up to 4 on task shops. It won't task more than half of our available shops to make pots, so they won't be tied up doing that while there are other things available. Which reminds me, we need to check on our haulers and make sure they're set up to do stone crafting. Why stone crafting? Because we will always need stone crafted stuff. We use mugs as a trade good, so those have to be stone crafted. We need rock pots to brew stuff into. Those will be stone crafted. All of these generalized labors are great, but they don't qualify as crafts. And dwarves get torqued if they don't occasionally get to do some crafting stuff. So stone crafting, or later on we'll use glass making, because right now glass isn't yet a free cycle for us. I'll get into that later. So we'll use stone crafting because stone is, if not free, almost free. Dwarves can, we have an enormous number of crafts dwarves workshops, so we can keep a large number of dwarves rotating through that job on a regular basis. And we don't really care, per se, if any particular crafting item is high value. Pots are used for function, and the crafting that they get done, if it's of low value, is of inconsequential meaning to us because we're simply going to sell it anyway. Sure, that mug wasn't worth, 120 dwarf bucks, but mixed in with these crafters making these crummy ones are also crafters doing it at high skill, and there's enough of that going around to get us our value. Moreover, if we really want high value trade goods, we're not selling those, we're selling green glass trap components. And about 10 of those is sufficient to buy out just about every caravan you're ever going to run into. They're like $1,000 a pop, even when they're relatively low quality. Reminds me, I don't think we set a hotkey up for this, so let's do this. We'll create one here. Now the Gemworks also doubles as our clothing and leather production because they're on the floor above. Doesn't look like we actually have anybody assigned to do the clothes making, which is a problem. So we'll get 3 people on that. We'll take them out of the spinning job. We'll take them out of the weaving job. We have people who will do those things. Our military needs to do our weaving. That's who I've got. Because our military is doing... Our engraving is done by the military because, well, after all, they've got the interesting stories to tell, right? The time I split the goblin in half, the time I watched my teammate decapitate the giant toad that was eating her head. No joke, we did that on stream. Let's see, masons are doing good. So, now that we've got the notion that we're going to do our haulers as stone crafters, let's turn these guys off of stone crafting. Mix our masons back in if we want. Engraving when they're off duty. We can put weaving and cloth working on these guys. Usually I don't really care who's doing the shearing, I just want it done. I don't care who's making the thread, there's no quality involved, I just want it done. Weaving technically can trigger moods, but again, if these are military guys, they're going to spend most of their time in the military. I don't care whether they get the skill or not, it's not really relevant. And they need to have some sort of crafting skills available to them in order to not get pissed off about being unable to craft. So, leaving weaving on or stone crafting on, these are things that I don't really care about. They produce cloth of no quality, or stone crafts, the only purpose of which is to sell. We do need to run a spate of items for our dwarves to acquire. So on second thought, let's go ahead and turn these back on. Turn this off. Put those back on. There we go. Now let's do a spate of acquiring items. Dwarves need items that they can take home. Personal stuff. It used to be just clothing. Now it includes rings and earrings and scepters and crowns and all those gewgaws you used to make solely for sale, basically, if somebody wanted them. Now your dwarves want a few of them for themselves. So we'll make a few earrings and make a few rings and make a few amulets and make a few crowns, and then tell everybody if it's not in storage and they've taken it, that make more. Gradually, over time, these crafts will get made. They'll get spread out to your dwarves, who will adopt them for personal use. They'll get stored in personal spaces in the cabinets and trunks of our dwarves. As they move out of stockpiles, they'll go below the count. They'll trigger a new batch to be made. We'll make a new batch. Dwarves will claim them. That will happen until dwarves are satisfied, at which point the excess can be sold off. Since dwarves will claim the early items more often because, well, they're available early and dwarves want them and they need them and there are no options, they'll take the crummy ones early on, leaving the good ones for sale later. Or at least, generally speaking. Since we've got so many people doing stone crafting, it would be a while before we had a run of, masterworks, for example. But the general premise holds. Okay, wanted to make sure we had the necessary things, and we'll limit these things down to 4 shops. Because we have 8, we want to kind of spread the work out a little bit so you're getting a variety of things created. The problem if you go whole hog is that these things will all be tied up making crowns, earrings, scepters, bracelets, and they'll never get rings, amulets, figurines, toys done until this whole list is run. This way you'll get a little more variety created. Remembering, of course, that I have 8 of these shops, so 4 is only half the capacity, and it's going to force them to spread the labor out. Oh, right, the bridge. The bridge that we've managed to construct incorrectly like twice now. Yeah, I remember the bridge. Okay, let's fix the bridge. That pulls the civvies back indoors. They'll be able to do most labors as long as it doesn't involve being on the surface. Once they're all back inside, I don't care what the hell happens. I can pull the lever, and if they climb out, well, good for them, I guess. There's not much I can do for that. I'm pretty sure we've failed to construct this bridge correctly twice now. We've got to get it right this time. It's kind of silly. And I'm pretty sure that's going to be the last guy coming indoors. We'll wait for a few more seconds, see if anybody's... I'll zoom out a little bit and see if anybody looks like they're coming for the door.
Dwarf work.
That might be a dwarf there. Yep, need to wait for them to get inside. They're probably hauling something, so they're a little heavy. Now, the reason we want everybody inside is because once we sever access to the surface to rebuild the bridge, it becomes problematic to feed dwarves that are stuck outdoors. It can be a while before whoever is responsible for building the bridge gets around to, you know, actually building the bridge. Once they do, there's a fair number of resources that go into it that have to be hauled. So now we will mark the bridge as remove. Okay. Force the military up onto the surface. Now I think this should work because I should still have in this the availability of saying, yeah, they can be in the tree chopping zone too, which allows them to come up and disassemble the bridge. The problem is some of them are going to run outside, but most of them are going to be indoors. Heaven help those ones that are outside. Good luck, kids. Smart way to do this is to create another burrow where it's just like the bridge entrance and force them to only be available to disassemble the bridge. Or maybe pick up those 2 items that are sitting there in the depot, I guess. Yep, Mason's on the way. Mason probably can't do it though. Need to add the Mason. Okay, fine, guys. We'll force it to the other way. to get it done. That includes our masons. The folks who were outside are no longer permitted, so they're going to fail. They're going to stop doing whatever they're doing, or finish doing whatever they're doing, and get the hell back indoors. And if they're smart, they'll do it quicker, sooner rather than later, because the mason will come along and fix this problem, I think. Good God, what the hell do I have them in the damn... There we go. Now they'll go back inside. And we'll allow them to be in those burrows. Oh, sorry, that's inactive. Wrong one. There we go. Now, oops. There we go. Now they'll be able to access only the space necessary for the job they're doing downstairs and the job they're doing up here. I've forgotten whether you have to actually connect the two, but we'll figure that out pretty quickly, I suspect. And we'll make sure they have architecture, because I want to make sure we can get this rebuilt quickly as well. now we can determine whether we want them in... Now we can let them out of this, and we can do this a different way, and let everybody up, and then we can determine whether we want them in the upstairs or not. Yes, that would be better. Then we can get any idler to do the work who has masonry. We don't have to try and limit our dwarves into a tiny little space. That was the last one. Let's make sure, yep. Okay, and then we're going to here to the alerts. Make sure that's set that way, and now everybody can come up onto the surface, but only inside the area or right here to disassemble the bridge. So no, regardless of length, this is a good question. Regardless of length, a raising drawbridge is considered to be 1 Z level in height. So it doesn't matter if you make it the full length, you make it 1 length. When it's up, a raising drawbridge is the same height, always 1 Z. It's a little unrealistic perhaps, but there it is. When it's up, it does function the same as a wall. There's one catch. Anything on the drawbridge gets thrown. Anything that's occupying the space that it does when it's up gets crushed. Anything that's under it when it goes down gets crushed. And when I say crushed here, I mean atomized out of existence. No one will even notice it disappeared unless they're standing right there when it happens. Poof. Such and so has been missing for a week.
Sir, I hate saying no to you, but no.
I'm going to temporarily allow masonry on everybody here in a second. When I want a job done, I want it done all right now. Got all those idlers. Somebody can do this job. Oh, well, that would be a good thing to know. I didn't realize we had merchants in the damn compound. Maybe we shouldn't remove it just yet, then. Not sure we traded with them, but I think we did. Yeah, because we sold them off our trap components. Okay, so we're good there. We don't need a trader. He's good. Let them leave, and then we'll disassemble the thing and fix it. We'll have to be fairly quick about it because this is mid-spring and the human caravan will be along shortly. Not sure if you can have two burrows active at the same time in an alert like that. I need to double check. It looked like it was working properly. Come on, merchants. Go, go. You've had your trade. Get going. Bring me grizzly bears next time. Well, let's go down and check on the forges, I guess. See what they're up to. Trying to make me the iron stuff I requested. Let's check on our bar counts. See if they're able. Oh yeah, we've got plenty of iron laying around, and we've got a good quantity of steel built up. Good. The reason we're making the iron stuff early is twofold. We've told our dwarves to wear steel, so when the time is necessary, they'll upgrade from the first guy of the first squad on down. Second guy in the first squad, third guy in the first squad, all the way through the first squad until they're all upgraded. Then it'll be first guy in the second squad all the way down, and then third squad, fourth squad, and so on. The good materials will push down until everyone is clad in steel. For the most part, iron will be sufficient for most dwarves. Once it's pushed down far enough, then we can look at creating civilian squads, which could be iron armored. Hospitals for or beds for convalescents, tables for surgery, traction benches once I get them built for people who need to be immobilized before splints are put on them.
Yes, I'll do it, but no, it won't work. Sorry, I can't do it, sir.
All right. Let them get that done. Let them get a few more of the tables built.
No.
We can always stick additional boxes in here. That's not a problem. I'm fairly certain we're nowhere near capacity currently anyway. So let's go ahead and jam a bunch more supplies into our hospital here. Get it prepared.
No, 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 no. No!
And our first patient, of course, has been running around all this time because we forgot we didn't have a hospital zone. I should say I forgot I didn't have a hospital zone. Created the room, made it a dormitory. I'm pretty sure one of these beds was set up as a dormitory. Maybe I didn't even do that. May have gotten distracted early on. Wow, we didn't even set up a dormitory in here. The chains might get used up by the guys trying to build the traction workbenches, so I need to make sure that we have the extras built up for those.
Oh, no way! I can't do it!
Yes. That.
I'm going to keep this thing.
Which I apparently didn't build correctly. Is intended to allow us to pasture an animal here and get advance warning of incoming enemies. The animal will look down through this gem window and see creatures below it on the floor below. And thanks to pastures, we can pasture male animals there. As long as we check periodically to make sure that the animal hasn't died of old age, they'll always be available to look through the windows and down onto our creatures below. We can lock them in with a door that's not pet passable, which forces them to stay in there even if they get scared by something, which means eventually they're going to go back to their pasture. We just need to use something that isn't a grazer. Pet cats, dogs. Nothing's going to shoot through up into here, so we should be safe.
Sorry, sir, I can't do it.
If we can get enough onyx to do it, that'd be awesome. Let's just do it in onyx. And our ceramics workers will gradually make their way down to start working in these workshops where they will do all the cutting. Remember, they're going to take all their cut gems, deliver them across the floor to the cut workshop, which will take the cut gems and encrust them. All of this being set up by simple logistics chain. These workshops only take from this workshop full, or this stockpile full of rough gems. They deliver only to this stockpile over here. This stockpile takes only cut gems. It gives only to these guys. They take from this stockpile of mugs to do their encrusting. If we can get enough onyx cut, we might be able to make the entire gem window out of onyx, which would be kind of nice. Both from an aesthetic standpoint and from a... our dwarves have windows made out of black gems. where they have animals spying for them like one-way mirrors. Now, those jobs I've queued will be in addition to what the workshop manager queues.
No!
Need to lock up one of these workshops, making ammunition because we're starting to get low.
Yes, I'll do it, but no, it won't work.
In retrospect, I would let them smooth this room before I cut it down. But oh well.
Sir, you can't do that there.
No.
Okay, I lied. We're going to lock up a couple of rooms doing this. Yes, the kids actually play with them. And as I recall, some folks have reported stat growth based on whether they get to play with toys or not. I'm not sure as to far as whether different toys have different stats, but I believe that I believe I've seen it reported that playing with toys is better than not, or having the ability to play with toys is better than not. We really need to get that bridge removed, and to hell with y'all if you're going to be out here. Suck it. Fall in. No, what it is they're all picking up wood from the outside to fill our sudden wood demand, because I've ordered a pile of wooden splints and a pile of wooden crutches, and our carpenter's just down there going rip shit. And I've ordered wooden bolts in repeat, so our craftsmen are burning wood like mad at the moment, and they're retrieving all these logs that we've been creating. There we go. Now the bridge is starting to fall, and doors are getting stuck for a minute. We're gonna have to hurry. Unbuild faster, dwarf! Let me see you. So this is Vetlinger. I'm not sure if it's in the pack by default. This is a recently updated version of it.
Can't do it. I said no.
If I'd been paying attention, I would have teased Vetlinger and Meph to fight over which tile set I used for my final stream on Saturday when I go for 24 hours. They've been going back and forth in the forums and subreddit about their respective tile sets. Give the audience a chance to vote.
No, I can't do it.
We'll just build it short and worry less about the crushing and more about the I can build it. Got a lot of dwarves stand out here in the rain. And since we burned the bridge, we can burn the lever and recover the extra mechanism we used to link it. Or we could simply link it to the new thing. And since the linkage on the old thing is gone, the mechanism would still be there, but it would be linked up faster. So what's your choice? A little less worried about getting it linked, but if you're in someplace that's evil, you might want to think about that. And we probably should tell the tavern to actually store the goblets for the booze.
Can't do it. Oh, I won't do it.
Oh, they opened an artery. This guy may actually finish hunting for a change. Nope, still gonna run out of bolts. I must flee. I've hit the bird 4 times, but not managed to kill it. Holy crap, he finally managed to hunt. Well, might as well let them live, I suppose. Now, see, what we're setting up here is an age out. Once these birds reach adulthood, all of them, or a big chunk of them, we'll end up with 50 or 60 extra birds over here. And when we butcher them, we'll get full meat products for that. And only the youngest adults will be left to reproduce further. So we'll be back to fully on track. All of the birds won't age out, just a large supply of them. We could do the same thing with dogs. Stick a few males and females in a room, breed them up, and just produce, massive quantities beyond what our limit is. And then let them out as necessary, either to replace losses to take us below the limit, or to allow us to butcher the dogs en masse. Dingoes, of course, might eat your baby, but aren't suitable for war training. I don't believe we can check on cougars, though. I'm not sure if cougars can be trained for war or not. I don't believe so. But I confess I had to check the wiki on that one because it's been a while since I've had a cougar in captivity. And they cannot, so death! Off with their head as it goes. Okay, so that should be everybody now. And we'll pull the dingo, cougar, and skunk out and let them get butchered. We're ignoring the birds because they are stuck in a narrow room where they can just survive for now. Once we're ready, we will straight up need a knacker because we are going to have 100 or so butchering jobs that come in all at once. Yeah, okay. I'll build it with a gold mechanism. Sure, sure. Probably shouldn't do too many at once. Might have one guy fall on another guy and cushion the landing too much. One guy at a time down the hole.
Summer is upon us.
No. I said no. No. I said no. No. I said no.
And the mighty hunter comes along. Can he kill the turkey? Probably not even at point blank range. He's terrible. He's bad and he should feel bad.
It won't work.
I must withdraw. Told ya. Turkey dies of its wounds 10 seconds after he flees. The mighty hunter, Nimrod. Yeah, Vellinger was... I think he was in here briefly the other night. But it's too late for him in his time zone, so he wasn't here very long if he was. I did see him on the Discord the other day. I like the tile set. If I played it as an adventurer, I'd probably use it far more often. The problem is with a 32x tile set at the, the depth where you're looking at adventurer type details like buildings and things you're in, and maybe you go a little larger so you can see surroundings. But if you're playing as, playing Dwarf Fortress mode, you're kind of playing at a higher zoom, generally speaking. So you lose a lot of the fine detail that's present in the 32x tile sets. I'll bet this would look kick-ass at like 4K on my wall, though. If I actually had something that could play it at 4K on my wall.
Oh, the dwarf has been possessed by an unknown force.
I claim this workshop in the name of invention!
Let's see what we get out of this. What's he recovered? What's the first thing he recovered? Bone. Is that the workshop he's using? And the bridge is up. So they can on in. Make sure we got plenty of depot accessibility. I kind of want to look at this a little bit more. Looks like we're doing good. Trees aren't clogging us off too badly. Four wagons, that's it? 4 wagons and a couple of donkeys. You amateurs. Look at all the donkeys. You could have brought wagons. Bring wagons. Amateurs. Be lucky if the goblins don't siege us right after they arrive. Hey, heard you had tasty donkeys on that side of the bridge.
I can't do it. I just can't.
Unload faster, feeble humans. Our trade goods await.
No, 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 no. No! I can't do that there.
That's a fancy barrel. probably never even use most of these seeds, but we'll store them anyway. Hemp can be used just like rope reeds, so that's actually a good acquisition. In addition, your dwarves can roll it and smoke it. No, I'm just kidding. They can't. It's entirely a joke. I am surprised that Toady hasn't implemented some form of tobacco or similar for the world. Okay, that'll do.
Sir, you can't do that there.
It won't work.
sorry, sir. I can't do it.
And we'll have that newest artifact hauled away to the library for storage.
Can't do that there.
Scribes need to be available in our private library in order to create copies of the works we take in or create. We need scholars available in the public library in order to discuss works. So, Nag, the answer to your question is somebody sent me that, and I don't even know where they got it originally. It's a style, apparently, that somebody's created for it. I like it. I'm going to keep using it. Of course, I like the white one, too, so, you know, I'm easy. Hey, Goon, welcome back. But I'm sorry to say, Goon, you've come too late. This is the end of our unscheduled session. We'll be back tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern for our scheduled session. The wife is home, and I would like to spend a little time with her before we pick up tonight where we left off. So we'll leave off here. Does anybody have any questions before I go? If not, we'll be back at 8 p.m. This is what we started this new fortress in. If I'd been thinking, I would have teased a nice battle between Vettlinger and Meph over their tile sets. Come out and see Vettlinger this week. Come out and see Meph next week. Vote the third week, and I'll use the winner in the 24-hour stream that I do at the end of the 33-day event. Actually, Vettlinger's name is the tile set right there. It's his tile set. Apologies, Vettlinger, if it's the other way around. Okay, guys, I will see you tonight at 8 p.m. Oh, thanks for coming, man. Like I said, if I'd been thinking, I would have set up a nice straw poll between you and Neff. Well, to be fair, this week we'll be streaming a little more often during the day. I'm on vacation ahead of our 24-hour stream this weekend, so I'll be doing a little streaming during the day as well as the usual evening stream. So there may be a few more chances for you to actually come out and see it. I wish I'd thought of the battling tile sets. That would have been fantastic. No, I know it's not at all serious. No, that's entirely not the point. It's an easy way to drive interest in both the tile sets and in the charitable fundraising I'm doing. So I saw it as I see it in hindsight as a missed opportunity, something I hadn't thought about doing before it came up. Okay, guys, I will catch you tonight at 8 p.m. That's going to be it for this afternoon's broadcast.